Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. As I'm an improviser, I'm going to improvise this entire speech. So, as you know, I'm Greg. I was a GSBA scholar from 2010 to 2013. It's one of those lucky ones who got to be in there for 4 years. I got my degree at Western in Management Information Systems. Thank you. Yeah, go Vikings! I never really did care for football, so it was a good match for me. I'm here tonight to tell you my story and about how the GSBA changed my life. I grew up near Pullman, which, despite the stereotypes, it was actually a really safe and good place to grow up. It was the kind of place where you could leave your car unlocked downtown and not worry about it getting stolen. You know, if you took a walk out on a country road, people would wave at you or ask if you needed help. I always forget about that when I go home and people are like, hey, I'm just walking, do you know me? Oh yeah, that's right, people are nice here. My mom and my dad worked hard to give my sister and I a good childhood. They read books to us before bed, they made school a top priority, and they even bought me a Nintendo 64 when it was really new and expensive. So, although my parents separated when I was 4, they did a good job making sure that we had both of them in our life, driving us back and forth between houses just about every other day. My sister and I bonded really quickly in that time, bonding over the struggles of having divorced parents, but also enjoying the benefits of having 2 Christmases. From a young age, I was a strong student. I was great at reading and math. I played baseball and soccer. I was the fastest kid on my team for a while, and then we went co-ed, so. I was what many would consider a pretty normal kid. My biggest struggle growing up was coming to terms with my sexuality. Because I grew up in an area with not a lot of exposure to gay people, my only exposure was the negative side. When people were bullied at school. I wasn't exactly watching Ellen and realizing there's a world of support out there. When my mom remarried, she married a guy who was really religious, so we converted to Catholicism, started going to church, and I was an altar boy. And I heard a lot of talk about the fire and brimstone, the sins of being gay and the unhealthy lifestyles and, dying young, addicted to meth and homeless and all these terrible, terrible things. I remember someone close saying to me when I was a kid that we should put all gay people on an island. And when I was young and impressionable, I thought maybe that's a good idea. I prayed every night that I would stop being attracted to men, but those feelings never left me. At first, I thought I was bi. I came out to my mom, and she told me that she would love me no matter what. But then, yeah, thank you. But then she gave me a book on the ex-gay movement and how to change my sexuality. So, to have your own parents say, I love you, now change, tore me apart. I was afraid of more rejection, so I didn't tell my dad or my stepmom. I was so scared. I tried to fit in by taking girls to dances and even dating a few. Those relationships only lasted long enough to throw off suspicion. I was pretending to be a different person. On top of the regular stresses of school, I was so angry and stressed out and frustrated because I really tried to change myself, and I tried, as many people here know, to change something that's immutable. I was building up a wall of lies around me and between me and other people, and my lies were crumbling down upon me. I finally came out to my dad and my stepmom in the middle of a huge, angry outburst. They were so shocked by my rage that they responded by sending me to a counselor to help manage my stress. I later found out that the counselor's intention was to help me become straight. But my counselor did know a lot about sexuality, and so they came to help me understand it better and to actually accept myself. But they advised me to play it safe and wait until college to pursue a relationship. My psychologist, a medical professional, encouraged me to stay in the closet. After 10 sessions, I told my parents that therapy worked and that I wasn't confused anymore. A year later, I started dating a guy at my high school. He sent me a friend request on Facebook with a little winky smiley face, as the teens are wont to do these days. We dated for a few weeks when his mom found out. She read his text messages. She called my parents and she told them everything. She was so religious and anti-gay that she framed everything as if I was some kind of villain who had tricked her son into being gay. She said all these horrible things about me, and my parents believed them. They grounded me indefinitely and immediately. And they told me that the web of lies that I had told them had shattered their trust permanently and ruined our family. My dad pulled me aside once and said, "What would people think if they found out about you? I just can't have a gay son in this town." I was forbidden to talk about it with my friends, and my sister was off at college, so I didn't have much of a support system. Here was the first blossoming of my sexuality, and I was made to feel like a criminal, and nobody was saying anything else. I ate dinner alone for months. I started blaming myself and my lies and as the reason for all of this, and for a while I really hated myself. I sunk into a deep depression, and as many people are familiar with, for a while I contemplated suicide. When I turned 18, I moved out of my parents' house and into my own apartment. I was determined to get out of my situation and get to college in hopefully one piece. But with my strained family relationships and not qualifying for financial aid, I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to make it through college, let alone get there. I had enough money saved up from working during high school that I could pay for like a year and a half of tuition and expenses, but then what was I going to do, go into $60,000 of debt? I applied to some colleges and some scholarships, and I waited. My life changed when the GSBA offered me a scholarship. Yeah, you can clap. I drove across the state to an event much like this. I got up on stage to accept my award in front of 400 people. I was blown away. I didn't know this kind of community existed. Here I was out in the middle of nowhere with no hope, and now I was in a room full of support and love and generosity. I went off to college knowing that I had a family that wouldn't judge me for something that I couldn't change, a family that wouldn't ask me to hide myself and would never ask me to lie about who I loved. With the support of the GSBA, I was able to focus on my studies. I worked a part-time job, I had amazing mentors, I got involved with extracurriculars, I followed my love of improv comedy, and I joined the troupe. And after taking control in my junior year, we started doing an annual charity show where all proceeds went to support homeless queer youth shelters in Seattle. I even had time to date, and I had my first healthy long-term relationship, which is an important part of college. Maybe the most important. Because I received a GSBA scholarship for all 4 years, I was able to finish on time, that's right, 4 years, with almost zero debt. And I also had time to focus on career development, so I had a spiffy resume, and before I graduated, I already had a job lined up at Tableau Software, in my fields. And I'm proud to say that this year, after only a year and a half out of college, I made my first donation of $150 to the GSBA Scholarship Fund. And that's not including matching corporate funds. Things with my parents are still complicated. And when I go home, it's emotional, and I feel eviscerated when I come back. But I'm proud to say that I've made tons of progress in helping my family come to understand what kind of community we have. I'm even prouder to say that my sister is here tonight to support me. So thank you, Brittany. Thank you for all your love, support, and understanding, and for being one of my best friends. There's still many people out there unaware, like I was, of this amazing community of support and generosity and love. We need to keep reaching out to these people and lifting them up through the gift of higher education. We can't do this without your support. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank all who have donated to the Scholarship Fund and ask that you keep shining the light that makes stories like mine possible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. A big round of applause for Mr. Greg. Come back out here, Greg, so we can see you. Come back out here, cutie. We're gonna bring the sister up. Let's bring the sister up.
Brittany, get up here, Brittany.
Excuse me.
Here she comes. Come on up, Miss Brittany. Your brother's he's gonna pull you up for once. Come on. Big step. Here they are.
Very nice. Beautiful.